15 past 1, and I have just finished a night of drinking downtown, and I'm stopping off at the Quick Trip at 15th and Denver, the nicest of all Quick Trip establishments. And I spent all but my last $2 on gasoline and cigarettes. This detail will become important later. And as I'm filling up my car, there's this dude talking loudly on his cell phone approaching me. And all of a sudden I hear, I don't know, man, maybe this dude can help me out. I'm like, So he goes, hey man, can you give me a ride? And I was like, sure, yeah, I'm not doing anything. I can give you a ride. So he gets in the car and I ask him where to, and he goes, oh, it's out around about Osage Casino. I'm like, oh, good, excellent. So we start on our journey, and he looks at me. He says, hey man, do you smoke? And I'm like, look at me. Like, does it look like I smoke? Yes, I smoke. He goes, all right, cool. Well, I left my pipe over at my friend's house. Maybe you can give me a ride over there. I go, all right, here we go. And we get to this like nondescript apartment building. He goes inside, and he comes back out with a really strange-looking weed pipe. Not exactly a traditional one that I had used before. And he goes, all right, man. Well, let's go pick some up. I got a buddy. We can go drive by his place. We can go pick something up. So we continue north, and we end up at Oklahoma Street, which is a street that I didn't even know existed until this point. And we pull up to a guy on a bicycle, and that is his friend. That is his friend. So his friend gets into the car in the back seat, and like, I wasn't really worried about the first dude. Like, he was really skinny, but like 2v1, like that's bad odds no matter who you are. And it's at this point that I realize, as I'm trying to buy drugs from this man, I have spent all but my last $2 on gasoline and cigarettes. So I hand him the $2, and he takes it, and they both go inside this house that's like right across the street. And I text my friend about what's going on, and he responds, "Dude, get the fuck out of there! What are you doing?" And I'm like, I kind of want to see where this goes. So they come back out and they get in the car. And the dude says, hey man, I'm sorry, he can't do anything for $2. And he hands me the $2 back, which I did not expect. It was a major bonus. So he ends up, he says he has something, and he says, all right, well, you know any place where we can smoke? And my mother is out of town. So I'm like, yeah man, let's go back to my house. So we end up at my house, and he's pulling out his weird-looking pipe, and he asks me, "Hey man, do you like cocaine?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Did you ever smoke it?" And I go, "No." And he's like, "All right, well, this is gonna be great." Is super excited to give me my first hit of crack in my life. And he packs it up, and we light it, and something that none of the drug awareness videos tell you is that crack for some reason tastes like Big Red. I don't know what they mixed it with, but it was like very specifically exactly Big Red. And I exhale, and he goes like, "Hey man, how's it feel?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Cool, man. And the thing about smoking crack is when you smoke some crack, you really want to smoke a lot more crack. So what ends up happening over the course of the night, he has a cousin who lives like in some apartments like a quarter mile away. So we end up like rooting for change in my like drawers and shit, and like shuttling back and forth between his cousin's place and my place, to the point where like his cousin has to be irritated because we're like showing up for like 40 cents of crack. Like more than once. Like they must have a rocky relationship. So we're hanging out at the house, high on crack, and he's looking at my computer. He's gone onto his Facebook profile, and he says, "Hey man, check this out." And he starts to show me these girls, and I'm like, "All right, cool." And he's like, "Hey man, you wanna get some of these girls over here? They're fast." And I was like, "I'm gonna go ahead and draw the line there. I'm good. I don't need any crackos in this establishment right now." But he's continuing to go through these photographs, and there's like a picture of a Lexus LFA. I don't know if anybody knows cars. A really fancy Lexus, and I'm like, "Dude, that's a sweet car." And he's like, "Yeah, man, my dad's the head of Lexus Imports of America." And I was like, "What?" And then there's like a picture of him with Usher, and I'm like, "What?" I have found the most famous crackhead in the world. This is amazing. But like the hours getting later and later, and I got shit I gotta do in the morning, and I'm like, "Dude, I gotta take you home, man. It's like 7 a.m. And he had previously told me like his mother was gonna come pick him up before she went to work in the morning. That did not happen. So like 7 o'clock goes around, 8 o'clock comes around. I'm like, "Dude, all right, I have to go. We have to go." And we get in the car, and we're heading north, really, really north, very exceptionally north. And we're driving down this street, and there's this woman walking on the sidewalk, and he goes, "Hey man, pull over." And apparently crackheads somehow can like recognize each other just by like the look of them, because she gets in the car and he like gives her some money. And we drive another like half block, and she gets out and gets into this house and doesn't come out, and continues to not come out. And like 10 minutes pass, and she has not come out of this house. And I'm like, "Hey dude, I'm sorry. You got ripped off or whatever. I really have to take you home. Like, this is it. This is the last thing." And he goes, "Tell you what, I'm going to get out. You drive around the block." And I do. I like fully consider ditching him. I'm like, "No, I've come too far. I've come too far for this." And we drive around the block. He gets back in the car totally downtrodden. I'm like, it's going to be okay, man. It's going to be okay. Where do you live? I have to take you home. And we end up at 44th Street North. And we pull into the driveway of this unassuming house. And I reach over and I shake his hand. I tell him it was good to meet him. And we are Facebook friends still to this day. Thank you very much. I'm Daren Ebacher.